guys, so if you've seen my other videos, you know that I had a 2001 Bullitt Mustang. It had a Pro Charger on it, and then I ended up selling the Pro Charger kit off the car, and I had the car for a little while after that, not boosted or anything. Ended up selling it maybe about a month or two ago. The car had some issues that I just was not a fan of. Every time I drove the car, I just wasn't happy with it. I ended up selling it and getting this car. This car right here, it's a 2001 Cobra Mustang. And as we go around the car, I'll show you why I wanted to get this car and what makes it so much better than the 2001 Bullitt that I had. I do miss that car a lot, and I wish I would have kept it just because it was a Bullitt, but I wasn't able to keep it, and I just wanted a car that ran and drove really good, that I could just drive around whenever I wanted to, and I think this car is that car. So let's jump into it, and I'll go over some quick things about the car, and then we'll hop in it and we'll go for a ride. So looking over the car, like I said, it is a 2001 Cobra. It is mineral gray wheels on it. It's got 18-inch FR500 wheels. If you look closely around the car, it's not perfect. It's got two big dents in the door right there. It's got chips in the paint here and there. It's got scratches. But my plan for the car is to fix it up, basically make it into a really nice 2001 Cobra. Obviously right here, the cowl panel is all cracked. Putting a new one on there. On the front of the car, as you can see, it doesn't have a front bumper on it yet. I have a bumper that I'm trying to get painted, and then I'll put on the car here pretty soon. The hood, it's got rock chips, like I was saying before. Paint, it's not perfect by any means. If you look here on the front, there's a heat exchanger. The car is supercharged. I'll dive into that here in a second as we go around the car. This side of the car, as you can see, it's better than the other side. There's some little dings here and there, but nothing that can't be fixed. On the inside, it still has the original seats, and surprisingly, they're actually in pretty decent condition for the mileage of the car. So the car's got 150,000 miles on it. I've put almost 250 miles on it just because I'm trying to break in the new clutch. The interior wasn't too good when I bought it. It was very dirty. Cleaned it up, and it actually turned out looking really good. So enough talk about that. Let's pop the hood and we'll get into the good stuff. As you can see, there is a Eaton supercharger on the top of this motor. When I got the car, it wasn't running and driving. The owner that I got it from had basically just put the engine into the car. He didn't have the engine harness in, he didn't have any of the coolant lines in, and the supercharger wasn't even bolted down. I had to pull that off quite a few times actually, because I ran into some other problems of myself. It took me about a month to get it all put together, running and driving as it is now. I ended up painting the supercharger black, put a cold air intake on it. There were some parts that I had to buy, but the previous owner had a lot of extra parts, and I'll cut to a clip right now that I had filmed when I first got the car, of the car on the trailer. But it already came with the heat exchanger. It basically came with everything that I needed. There were just a few things that I needed to buy. I don't want to go too in depth on everything that I had to do to get the car running, because I'm going to be posting a separate video on how to do an Eaton swap on a Mach 1 or an 01 Cobra, basically any 4.64 valve for the most part. The motor that's in the car isn't the original motor that came in this 01 Cobra. It's actually a Mach 1 motor. The heads are a little bit different than the 01 Cobra. The heads that came on the 0304 Mach 1 were basically the same heads that were on the 0304 Cobra Terminator. On the back of the car here, as you can see, it does have the 9901 Cobra amber taillights. Now when I got the car, those taillights were not on the car. The owner had just a set of tinted Raxium taillights. Luckily, I got two pairs of amber taillights, so I threw a pair onto the car. Now they work as they should, like it was from the factory. It still has the IRS in it. The catback is a Bassani catback. The mid pipe is a catted Bassani X pipe. It does sound good, but I'm planning on putting MagnaFlow MagnaPack mufflers onto the catback. Alright guys, let's jump into the car and we'll take it for a drive. We'll talk a little bit more about some other stuff that I've done to it and some other things that I plan on doing to it. So right off the bat, when I first got the car, it had a Hurst shifter on it. I had never had one of those before. I always liked the design of them, as they were kind of more old school design. But after driving it, it was a little too loosey-goosey for my taste. It was hard to tell when the car was in neutral. It didn't spring back like the MGW one does or the Steeda one does. So yesterday or the day before, I put an MGW short throw shifter into the car, and now it feels much better. I've always been a huge fan of MGW. With the MGW shifter compared to the Hurst, it's just so much easier for it to spring back into neutral like that. With the Hurst, if you went over, it would just stay right there, and it was hard to tell when it was in neutral. One thing I like about it too is going from second to third, when you go out of second, it pops right into the spot for third and you can just go right up. And the throw is a lot more shorter too than compared to the Hurst. The car already had this stereo put into it. It's a touchscreen Pioneer. It works really good. For having 150,000 miles on the car, it drives really good. Now, the previous owner did put a brand new spec stage 2 clutch in. So right now, I'm still trying to break in the clutch. I've put about 230 miles on it so far, and obviously those are supposed to be city miles. I've basically been driving it around for about a week or two, so I'm almost halfway done breaking in the clutch. It had the EGR deleted, and I'm not too sure on if the tune is from a factory Terminator Cobra or not. The only thing that I do know is that the previous owner let me buy his SVT X4 tuner. It had a preloaded tune on there that he said guy with the Mach 1 was running. And as far as the tune goes, it does run and drive good, but I can tell that it's probably running a little bit rich. Car has a very fumey smell every now and then. I've plugged in the SVT and I've read certain gauges. I can't remember which ones that they are, but they are a little bit above what they should be. So that's another thing that I need to do, is I need to get the car tuned. I'm still trying to figure out where exactly I want to do that. As you guys know, I'm located near the Austin area. There's a shop called Pro Modular Performance, which I've been to a couple times. The owner's super awesome. Might take the car there. I might take the car to another shop that's south of Austin in Buda. It's called R&S Performance. I've never been there, but I've heard great things about them. I've had some friends take their cars there and they do super awesome work. And there's a few other shops that I might take it to get it tuned, but PMP and R&S Performance are the two big modular Mustang shops in the area. So those are the two that I'm trying to look at to go for a tune. Other than that, guys, I'm just excited to finally have a car that's pretty close to a Terminator. Probably still end up getting a Terminator one day. Don't know how long I want to keep this car for just yet, but it basically worked out pretty well. I was sick of the Bullet, like I said before. I had been talking to the owner of this car for quite a while, and it ended up just working out where I got the car for basically the exact same price that I sold the Bullet for. I don't really know how long it would have taken the last owner to get this car up and running, but I kept in contact with him and he's super happy that the car is running now. So whether I keep it, whether I don't, it's just another new Edge 01 Cobra that is running and driving again now, and it's supercharged and it's mineral gray. So that's super awesome. Hopefully I can keep it as long as I can, but we'll just have to see. I think that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I appreciate everybody who went through, watched the whole video. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. If you enjoyed watching the video, click that like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.